Hey family, hey Chief Smith here. This wasn't not taking me long. Listen, it's been a little minute, but today is Freedom Friday. That's right, Freedom Friday. And many of you have absolutely heard me talk about boundaries and why boundaries is so important. And so I like to call them spiritual property lines. Yeah, spiritual property lines. And so when you think about a property line, they're in your city, in your county, in your state, wherever you are, even down from state to state and even country to country, there are lines that separate you from the next piece of land, the next piece of property, the next state, the next country, the next city, the next county, right? There are lines, which some people call them zones. But nevertheless, these things were set into place to create a certain way of life, to ensure that there was no mix up or crossover as it relates to lifestyles, cultures, people, all of that, right? So it was literally a delineation between over here and over here, over there and right here, right? And so we think about that and we know that in the natural sense, but even as it relates to spirituality, or even if it just relates to our daily life, how many of us are setting the appropriate zones and or property lines and or boundaries as it relates to making sure we receive the proper peace in our life? See, let me back up a little bit. The reason why you do not have peace is a few things: that you're just trying to meet everyone else's expectations and not your own, that you have taken on other people's problems and issues, that you are focusing more on your problems and issues, and or you don't have such a lifestyle to where you can compartmentalize what's happening with you or with others around you, right? Understanding that what's meant for you is for you and what's meant for someone else is for someone else. See, we have to create these zones, these property lines, these boundaries in order to be our best self, to be in the most optimal health as possible. So, just in case you say, well, that person doesn't bring me peace, great, great. Set a boundary, set a property line. And listen here, some people are not going to like your boundaries. Some people are absolutely not going to respect your boundaries. But the boundaries is not for them, it's for you, right? It's for you to stay in your right frame of mind. It's for you to keep a clean and a pure heart so you can love in the way that you're supposed to love, so that you can speak in a manner that gives life and not death, so that you can be the best self, be your best self for you first. Hmm? How many of us know that we cannot be good for other people unless we're good to ourselves? That's why it's called self compassion. Hmm? Self evaluation, self assessment, self control, self dis. See, the word self is you. It all starts with you. Nothing else can go further out. Nothing else can reach its next mission or assignment until you, self, get in order. So for today, just for today, think about the boundaries that you need to set for your life and for those around you, whether that's in a business partnership, whether that's in your place of employment, whether that's with family, whatever and wherever that is, friends, whatever, your tribe, your community, whatever that looks like. Set in place the proper zones, property lines, and boundaries so that you can be your best self. And let me say this before we end here: it's okay for you to share with people that you are setting boundaries, because it lets them know that you are putting yourself first, not that you are discrediting or disregarding anyone else. Okay? But it's okay to share, and it's also okay to share with those who are going to support you along this here journey, this here process. Oftentimes we do a lot of things on our own and we don't want people to know what's going on. Yeah, I know we got the naysayers, and if you expose too much, that's right up the adversary alley, and try to bring in all of this strife and all this other stuff. But let me just be real with you. I'm sure that there are absolutely a couple of people, maybe just one person, who you trust beyond measure to give you the proper support that you can say, hey, listen, I'm starting this journey. I'm going to need some support. I'm going to need you to pray with me, or I'm going to need you to just stand in the gap in agreement with me, or I just need you to check in with me from time to time from an accountability perspective. Okay? Yeah, it's okay to share that. And then it's okay to share the boundary that you are setting with the person or people that you need to set it with. That prepares them to know that they cannot cross those lines with you. And that's how you create a healthy relationship. Oftentimes, we just want to exit people, or we just want to cut them off, or we just want to be done without any explanation. Now, listen, some people don't require an explanation, but then there are some that if you know that you're going to have a continuous relationship with, you might want to warrant them a response. You don't have to go into detail, just a small response. Okay? Now, I said this was my last one. It really isn't. The next and to the last thing is be clear about your boundary. Because sometimes we're setting boundaries with people who really the boundary isn't for. Let me give you an example. So let's say I'm working a business opportunity with someone, and someone seems to be overwhelmed with all of life's experiences. And then the person comes to me and says, Chi, I need to set this boundary with you. Okay. But then they share why they're needing to set the boundary. Well, if I have a listening ear and I hear clearly, the boundary is so that they can get some things squared out in their life. Not that the boundary was really meant for me. Maybe the boundary meant for me is saying, can you give me some space, just a little bit, so that I can figure some things out in my life? Oftentimes people will take offense to a boundary and think that the boundary is meant for them. Some are meant for them, but some is for people to get their whole lives together. Right? It may not have anything to do with you. Maybe they're having some relationship issues. Maybe they're having trouble paying their bills. Maybe they've got a disgruntled a child inside the home that's causing ruckus. So we never know what's really going on the inside of people's homes, right? All you know is your interaction with them from a business perspective, from working together or what have you. And so, but they come to you, they came to me wanting to set the boundary when really it had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with what they need to work out on their end. But see, we have to operate in a spirit of discernment to know that. If you're thinking that everything's about you'll take offense to someone setting a boundary with you when really it's them needing some personal space to work out some things so that they can be in the most healthy relationship with you. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Until next time. Hopefully it's not a long time. But until next time, enjoy yourself. Be safe. Today is Freedom Friday. And remember to set those healthy boundaries with yourself first so you can be good to others.